to be here. And
So good to
I'm
have
glad to
you.
see that you're so excited this morning. It's
Yes.
rubbing off on me, anyways.
The excitement, right?
Yes, it's rubbing off on me.
We can't complain.
It's okay.
We can't complain.
We have to survive.
We have to survive.
Yes, we have
Because
to.
who die and I lose.
Of course.
All right. So a lot of things trended over the weekend, but I think that we should just go straight to headlines this morning so that we really have time to talk about issues as it affects us this morning. All right, let's look at Nigerian Tribune this morning. And on Nigerian Tribune, we have Labour pickets neck, discos, offices nationwide over electricity tariff hike, demands complete reversal of power sector privatization. One killed as gunmen invade community, burns cars, houses. Invaders making demands from Okomu Oil Palm Management. Want managerial position, 25% share. Alright? Nigeria's current design has expired. We must redesign our system to survive, says Obaseki. You can get details on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Driver killed, 4 sustained gunshot injuries as kidnappers abduct 3 in Oyo State. That's a sad one. And details you can find on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. CNG, Tinubu ends purchase of petrol-powered vehicles by MDAs. President presides as FEC meeting extends to second day, swears in more NPC commissioners. All right, we have another one. Fubara set to probe Wike's administration, swears in new Attorney General. Court strikes out LP's suit against INEC. All right, we also have 2027 Atiku Obi meet over mega party. Why I visited ex-VP Saraki Lamido, says Obi. Nigerians to pay for multi-purpose ID card as NIN enrollment hit 107 million. We also have here federal government plans new wage system based on workers' productivity. This is interesting. Employees on same level may earn different salary. Oh wow. All right, that's it on the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Okay, we're moving straight now to the Vanguard. And on the Vanguard newspaper, Labour protest, disconnect neck, TCN discos offices. Says privatization of power sector colossal failure. Demands complete reversal. We've heard your concerns. NEC chairman will go back to drawing board, federal government tells Labour. CBN will retain high interest rates to tame inflation. Escalating public service wage bills, increasing costs of governance, says Akpabio. Guba pools, INEC resumes voters registration in Edo, Ondo State, and Fubara to probe governance in last 8 years. 10 billion naira airport contract fraud. EFCC arraigns Sirika, brother, company today. And Tinubu directs mandatory procurement of CNG-powered vehicles by MDAs. Banks cut borrowing from CBN by 44% to 12.2 trillion naira. Escalating public service wage bills, increasing costs of governance, says Akpabio. And Guba polls, INEC resumes voter registration in Ondo State. All right, that's it on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Moving on still, we have our Daily Trust. And on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, terrorists kill 5 soldiers. Many villagers in Katsina raise houses, military silent. Mega party talks surface as Obi visits Atiku, Lamido, Saraki. Federal government plans productivity-based wage system for workers. Slain FIRS official planning marriage in December, says Uncle. Tariff hike, Labour insists on reversal, pickets neck, discos offices. 3 killed as rival gangs clash in Kano, And Tinubu direct MDAs to buy CNG-powered vehicles. Fubara hints at probing Wike's administration. Right, grab a copy of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning and read the story of your interest. All right, we're moving on to The Nation. And on The Nation newspaper, FEC adopts CNG-powered vehicles for ministries, agencies. The federal government targets less use of petrol to stem rising cost of living and boost economy. Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begins 2027 coalition talks. And productivity-based wage coming for workers. Fubara to raise probe panel on Wike's government. Picture here, I think is from the yesterday, the first ladies of so many nations gathered yesterday in Nigeria, in Abuja, and they had a very beautiful meeting. That's the picture you are seeing there. Finidi Mansado vows rejig of Super Eagles and restructuring of NYSC for future challenges starts. All right, that's it on The Nation newspaper. Moving on, let's look at Daily Independent. On Daily Independent, electricity tariff hike protest. Power sector privatization, federal government worst policy mistake, says Labour. Insist on reversal of tariff hike, says increase unacceptable. Asks federal government to reverse privatization, recover assets from investors. Paralyzes business activities at discos, NEC offices nationwide. The federal government promises to go back to drawing board, come up with solution. No Nigerian child will be excluded from quality education, says Tinubu. The CSOs ask Nigerians to rise against apartheid policy in power sector. Tinubu orders MDAs to procure CNG-powered vehicles, and FEC adjourns meeting, concludes deliberation today. Fubara vows to probe Wike's administration. All right, we're moving on now. New Telegraph is next. On New Telegraph, Fubara vows to probe Wike's administration, moves to set up panel of inquiry. Federal government pushing more Nigerians into poverty, crippling businesses, NFC, TUC. Food shortage imminent as Benue farmers desert communities. Nigeria records $282.6 million total direct remittances in quarter 1-4. That's quarter 1 in 2024. Now, CBN stops waivers for contraventions of forest regulations. All right, and okay, the Punch is next. Federal government convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protest. Federal government to address Labour's complaint. Protesters storm NEC, block discos, offices and states. And that's how the Punch newspaper captures it this morning. Also, we have federal government may need supplementary budgets to pay minimum wage, says IMF. CBN may intervene as Naira slides into 147.8 Naira per liter, or rather per dollar. I won't feel. Atiku Obi initiate alliance talks ahead of 2027 polls. Federal government plans performance-based salary scheme for voters. A Delta mother, 60-year-old son found dead for unconscious, or rather 2 unconscious. Amotekun arrests 45 suspected criminals in Ondo. All right, lastly, let's look at the Guardian newspaper this morning. And on the Guardian, mistrust, grid stall takeover of new telephony licenses in 31 states. We also have here 2027 opposition party leaders to meet over mega party. 265 local vessels registered abroad as Nigeria lags in registry digitalization. Obi meets Atiku, Saraki, others over Nigerians' woes. Fubara vows to probe Wike, others panel of inquiry. Okay, NLC TUC pickets neck, discos offices nationwide. Concerns as US study visa refusals reach recorded levels in 2023. Right, that's it on The Guardian. Back to the studio. Henry Wanze is still sitting pretty or handsome this morning. Which should you choose?
Beautiful and handsome combined. Call it exquisite.
Okay, you don't want pretty.
Yes, we'll call it exquisite.
All right, so I said when I was talking about what's trending this morning, I mentioned Fubara and Wike. Obviously he's everywhere. I mean, the news is everywhere, the story is everywhere in the newspaper. Almost all the headlines I read today, you hear Fubara and Wike, Fubara, Wike. And Rivers State is okay. So I watched an interview where Femi Falana San was saying that the president doesn't have any business meddling in the affair. They should leave them alone to settle by themselves. That's not his exact words, but that's how I say it. Now, Fubara vows to probe Wike's administration, moves to set up panel of inquiry. When is this war going to end?
It's very, very laughable. It's for want of words, it's preposterous to want to come to terms with what's happening in Rivers State. It puts Nigeria in a very bad light. It puts Rivers State in the bad light because right now Rivers State is in the news for the wrong reasons. And this is something that would have been avoided. It's avoidable. But because we have a system in place where the laws are meant for some persons and the laws are not meant for some persons. When we talk about the rule of law is the rule of law. It is there in black and white. It's not when it affects you and it doesn't, you won't want to adhere to it. And when it affects another person, you want to cry wolf. The Constitution is very clear on certain issues. On the issue of the defection of the lawmakers, I've argued about it several times. In different forums, different legal luminaries have also spoken on that issue, so many times. Section 68(1)(g) of the 1999 Constitution as amended clearly states in the issue of the House of Reps and Senate, if a member vacates his office of which the political party that sponsored him, he decides to leave before the expiration of the tenure. Also, Section 109(1)(g) of the 1999 Constitution as amended also talks about a member who was elected into a platform, by a political party, sponsored by a political party, and defect before the expiration of that tenure to another political party. The rule is very clear. The provision of the Constitution is very clear. That person automatically vacates that seat. That person has lost that seat. And it now beholds on the Speaker, the Senate President, or the Speaker House of Representatives, as the case may be, to declare those seats vacant and order INEC to immediately conduct fresh election in those positions. As in the case of that Rivers State House of Assembly, it is very pellucid. The only exemptions there is as contained in the judicial precedent that has already been said, that unless there is there's a factionalization in the political party, there is a division, there is a split, or there's an issue with the political party that make it so impracticable, very difficult for that political party to function. Only on that ground can that defection be seen to be known by law. That's the only proviso. As far as we are concerned, that of Rivers State House of Assembly, it is very pellucid that those lawmakers have already lost that position. That being said, it does not require the law court to now declare the seats vacant. That will be giving the courts a power that is not vested on them by the Constitution. So it is based on the Speaker. Now the problem now is that the other Speaker, which is Martin Amaewhule, by that provision is not even a member of the House of Assembly. So it's now left for the members who are available to now conduct an election and elect a Speaker, of which we already know they already have. The delay in this is what is causing this problem, and it's a big problem. It's a conundrum. Then the other aspect again that the governor had to now say, now signing an executive order that the sitting of the House of Assembly should be relocated to the government house. It is very unlawful, it is illegal, and it's very, very unnecessary. Very, very unnecessary, because in the eye of the law, it's illegal. Because they have three arms of government. You have the executive, you have the legislature, and you have the judiciary. Now, the legislature is not a branch of the legislature in any way. So the governor has no right to now determine where the sitting will take place. It is the duty of the legislators to now determine where their sitting will take place. The lawmakers are supposed to determine if the place is not conducive for them. They now by resolution of the House now ask that the sitting be relocated, not the governor by issuing an executive order. So it's just like in the case of Ladoja versus his godfather as a then in Oyo State. Ladoja, then governor of Oyo State, when he had issue with his estranged godfather at Dejibu, and they now relocated the sitting of the House of Assembly to a hotel. The Supreme Court ruled that any decision, any law passed outside the confines of the hallowed chambers, it is null and void. It's an illegality. So that can also be the case. So it's now left for the lawmakers to decide by resolution. Yes, I saw the frantic effort being made by the speaker yesterday while they were sitting in the annex, or rather a section of the auditorium of the government house, when they were saying that the sitting, that was like putting the cart before the horse. That ought to have been done in the hallowed chambers, where the mace will be there, which is the symbol of authority. You take the decision and say it by resolution, urgent matter of public importance, or whatever they want to call it, and say that this sitting be now carried to so place. So the governor on his own has acted outside the confines of the law. The legislators, the speaker, as it were, of the Rivers State of Assembly, whoever he is now, has failed to act what it's supposed to. And this is one of the problems that have been plaguing our democracy. We had other cases of Ifeanyi Ubah of the YPP, Young People's Party, had also defecting to the APC when his tenure, or rather, has not expired, and nothing was done about it. And it's very funny, because if the speaker or the Senate president is from a political party, which is ruling party, of course, and the person is defecting to his own political party, he turns a blind eye to that particular resolution. But what is now left for in the resolution of this crisis is the particular party in question, like in part of Rivers State, the PDP that feels aggrieved that his members left, 27 of them, to the APC, will now have to go to the court, not individuals, not the Rivers State of Assembly, go to the court and seek the based on the provisions of the Constitution, Section 109(1)(g), that the lawmakers, the office of the lawmakers, or the seats of the lawmakers, be declared vacant, so that elections, or rather, be conducted for those vacant positions. Now we talk about this issue, that the issue that's on the front burner of the issue of setting a panel of inquiry to probe. I don't have a problem with that. This is the issue we always talk about. The governor of Kano State, the Abba Yusuf, and the former governor, the predecessor, who's the chairman of the APC, national chairman of the APC, Ganduje. The issue is that if you must probe, let it not be seen as going on a vendetta mission. Right. Because the way it is now is like, okay, the other one said, I'm going to deal with you. You're not loyal. It's a mistake. And the other one say, well, continue to make the mistake. All I know is that I am here today by your mistake. We want you to continue to make a mistake. It becomes very childish. And your
product of mistake is going to prove
very puerile, and it doesn't make any sense. So it shouldn't have come at this particular time, because now whatever we want to look at it, no matter how noble that decision may be, it will seem as if you are getting back at Wike. And as a smart person that I thought maybe Fubara or any other person would have done, is not just to probe the last 8 years. You probe the government from inception of democracy, probably from 1999. That way you can hide under that canopy that you're not fighting a particular person. Even if you have it in mind, you would have been seen that you are probing. No. It will make a lot of sense if you're probing, the administration from 1999, or past administration from when democracy came, than saying you are probing for the last 8 years. It will send the wrong signal. Try and get me. For optics, it will seem as if you are now fighting, Wike as a king. No matter how noble, no matter how genuine your intentions are. So you see this whole back and forth is not good for the people of Rivers State. It's not good for our democracy.
So for Femi Falana to say that the president doesn't have,
of course, he's very, very correct. You have nobody to. They are not supposed to meddle in the affairs of Rivers State, as it were.
Well, he's the president of
it
the
doesn't
Federal
matter. It
Republic.
doesn't matter. There is a limit. There is a limit to which the president can call for a political solution like he did the other time. But you saw what happened, and to what effect did that make?
Actually.
And they accommodated some persons and who left office, and they came back to the office. Like recently, they screened another person, Dagogo, as the commissioner for Attorney General of the Federation and Commissioner of Justice, because of the former person there, resigned, and some other persons who were from the who are pro-Wiki, and anti-Fubar. So the point is, the president has no business. The problem has to be solved by the people of Rivers and Rivers alone, and this is how it's going to be done. The law have to take its course, like I clearly stated. If the House of Assembly is not willing or does not have the political will to do what is necessary, the People's Democratic Party, who is the party that is aggrieved because the members who left under the platform of People's Democratic Party, can go to the court and seek for the interpretation of Section 109(1)(g), which is expressively clear. When you are not able to prove that there is a factionalization of the party, a division, and you have left the political party that sponsored you before the expiration of the tenure, you are bound by law, by that provision of Section 109(1)(g), to vacate the office and a subsequent by-election to fill those vacant positions, so that the people of Rivers State can move on. We cannot continue like this.
We definitely cannot continue like this, but we're continuing with the headlines this morning. And on Nigerian Tribune still, Labour pickets neck, discos offices nationwide over electricity tariff hike, demands complete reversal of power sector privatization. So yesterday, I saw the notice on our platform, and then encouraging everybody to come out and to go to the discos office to picket them. And people were, of course, of the opinion that this is not what we need at the moment. Why did you not ask us to come out, to protest for salary increase, minimum wage? Why this? This is not our priority right now. And I'm wondering, what can we do for human beings? We are insatiable, honestly. So, but do you think that is the right step in the right direction?
Yes.
At this time?
Yes. There can never be a better time. But for me, I'm even thinking it's late, but it's better late than never. The whole situation ought to have been done how would I put it? This picketing ought to have been done yesterday. When I've been yesterday, I've been metaphorically yesterday. Oh, okay. Not just about yesterday, the 13th of May. Now, from the point where we started having this privatization, and we discovered that the discos failed in their responsibility to fulfill the main reason why the PHCN was unbundled into different discos and gencos to be able to provide us with power supply that is not erratic, that is not epileptic. That is when the labor unions ought to have started this decision of picketing and asking the federal government to go back to a drawing board, if there's ever a drawing board still there, to tell them that you have to go back to how it was before and find a way to see if the government can this time around handle it, or this time around be very careful to know who to pick as investors who really know what it takes, who know their onions, what to say. So for people saying they ought not to go and picket, this is not important, the salary, I say that is very wrong. Because the thing is, the issue of salaries is still under discussion, and even in labor unions, it's what we call negotiations and stuff. So as far as we're concerned, they're still in the process of negotiating. A tripartite committee has been set to look into this matter, and they're trying as much as possible to see how they can harmonize all the views from the NLC, from the TUC, which have already harmonized theirs, from the Nigerian Governors Forum, the NGF, and the what's it called, the private sector. Yes, the TUC and the NFC have already harmonized their own at 615,000 is their own. The Nigerian Governors Forums, who are the governors, will also have their own say, and that of the private sector will also have their own say on what to do. So they are still in that process before they will come to harmonize. So on the issue of salary, is still on the table. So we cannot say what the labor unions did was wrong. No, they did the right thing. Picketing is also part of labor unions. At least this is a way to send a message to the powers that be, the federal government, to know that the tariff hike is ill-timed, is hasty, is premature, and at this particular point in time we do not need it, because we are suffering a plethora of problems ranging from the high inflation rate, the food the hyperinflation, the food rate, and all whatnot, and the issue of taxes and all whatnot, and you're not imposing electricity tariff that is discriminatory. You have band A to band E. That means some persons.
Is that a choice of words?
Yeah, some persons are being targeted as sacred cows, while some are scapegoats. Why you allow some people to enjoy 20 hours of power if there is even any 20 hours of power?
But remember,
under the guise of
pay as you enjoy.
Are you going to tell me what I'm going to do? You give me, and I will tell you what I can afford. Don't begin to label me as a band A. Tell me, and I'll tell you I'll pay for 20 hours. But the most important thing is, give me the 20 hours of light, and I'll pay. Now the point now, you are now even jumping from 66 naira for 1 kilo, watt of power to 200, and for goodness sake, recently they now shifted after the outcry to 206. It doesn't make any sense. So I completely agree that it should be reversed. Bring all the stakeholders, because when you are doing such a thing, invite all the stakeholders. The labor union should be invited, the consumer rights protection, whatever, they ought to be invited, brought on the table, and determine. You say you are increasing because of the inflation. Who caused the inflation? Is it not the government of the day that caused the inflation, that they failed to do what is right? And you are now punishing Nigerians. On top of that, again, you bring all kinds of levies, cyber security levy, and the rest of it. You want to make us, please let the poor breathe.
Let the poor breathe.
Let Nigerians breathe.
Don't suffocate them. All right. Well, now that you mentioned salary, Daily Trust captures something that is so interesting. Federal government plans productivity-based wage system for workers. How would this work? Like, you have CCTV, planted on almost all the workers in Nigeria, because you're going to do that. How else are you going to monitor? I
find these highly suspicious. This is a surreptitious move by the federal government. See, sometimes optics matters. It is not a bad idea. Sometimes when you do something, don't do something at the wrong time. Like we talk about this issue of Fubara setting up a panel of inquiry and stuff like that. The timing, whatever you do, is very, very important. It's very suspect, because look at it this way. Productivity matters. Yes, we know there's this saying, especially in the public sector, some of the workers, they come to work, they don't do anything, they are redundant, they just busy watch television. Some don't even come to work and stuff like that.
Right.
For the point, not at this time when there is a clamor for wage increase, for living wage, and the talks on the table, and you're not bringing up this issue of it has to be based on productivity, and like the other part talked about, both of us can be on the same level, but we may not earn the same thing, because probably I don't come to work, or I don't give enough, output.
To work
I cannot give enough
Friday, but
output.
Productive.
No, productivity is not just about even coming, because you may still come and still not do the work.
That's it.
So, but rather than do this, leave it to the ministries, department, and agencies to carry out these oversight duties. It is the duty of the heads of departments, those in charge, to ensure those working under there are actually at work, and they should have their schedule of duties, and ensure that these people are provide a conducive working environment for them. For instance, I can't be in an office where there is heat in this kind of weather, when I'll be suffocating, and you expect me, and you say, put on your suit, put on your tie, and I'll be working under the heat. There's no light, there's no generator, nothing.
You'll be suffocated.
There is no light. I want to make photocopies, I want to do, and they're not. So there are a whole gamut of reasons before you can come to this point. So for me, I think it is hasty, is premature, and it's here time to bring up this issue of productivity. Yes, I know in some cases, like it was done some other time, when they had to do introduction of clocking machine, like in my office. Clocking machine, you come in. Listen, let me come to that. You come in, you clock in, so that they will know your time. Then when you leave, you clock out. But you find out that it still didn't work. Why? Because some persons will come even dressed in their pajamas, in their slippers, come as early as 6:30 a.m., clock in and disappear. They will not come until it's time for 4 o'clock and they clock out. I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. So it's not about that. It's about the heads of departments and whatever who is in charge of that ministry or department or agency to enforce the provision of the public service rule, to ensure that these persons are their duty place, and that these persons, that at no point that everybody should have their schedule of duties, and that there's a conducive working environment for that person. That way you can ensure productivity. It's not about saying you want to find a way to segregate those who produce more, or who produce enough output. For the record, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. but it is ill timed, it's premature, it's hasty at this particular point in time that, you know, talks are on the table, you know, on the issue of wage award or living wage, as the case may be.
All right, let's talk about Obi meeting with Atiku, Saraki, others. I also heard about Lamido too, over Nigeria's woes. That's what what's this particular date? The Guardian newspaper captures it at. But some people are saying that he's already, you know, sorting out himself ahead of the 2027. Is it 2027 or
2027?
Yeah, 2027 election. And then some also said, allegedly, that he's going to join force with Atiku, of course, going back to the PDP. Do you see that coming to limelight?
Anything is possible in politics. Anything is possible in Nigerian politics.
Even with Mr. Peter Obi.
And there is nothing wrong in aligning yourself. Alignment and realignment is all about interest. Now, forget about anybody tells you it's an interest of Nigeria. Yes, it might be in the interest of Nigeria, but for a politician, it is personal interest first. One thing is, how will it favor you? You know, from many people have learned their lessons from the last elections, and any good politician should learn their lessons, go back to the drawing board, and know what to do. You discover that the Labour Party candidate didn't really do well in the northern part of the country, apart from the north central states like Plateau, Nasarawa, and some other states where he actually had a good showing. So it is not out of place as a politician. It is not out of place for him to meet with those leaders. By the way, everybody is meeting out that, as he has said, he has met Sule Lamido of all of the PDP stock. Saraki was of the PDP stock before he went to the APC and back to the PDP, and Atiku Abubakar also PDP stock, and he was also a member of the PDP as well before the 2023 elections, where he went to the Labour Party. So it's like going back home, seeing, you know, familiar friends, as the case may be. So what he has done, there is no big deal about it. Any politician who knows what he wants can do that. And the talks about a mega party, it's still not out of place. Coalitions are allowed. The most important thing is that the way and manner they go about is what matters. At the end of the day, I only want to see how they can be able to put, you know, they will be able to put set aside their personal interest to ensure they have a common goal, unity of purpose. That is the only way a coalition works. We saw that with the issue of that's the AMPP, yes, who was formerly of the APP, and that of the CPC and some other political parties who came together under that umbrella, and then that formed, you know, that amalgam of the APC, and that was when President Muhammad Buhari was able to win his after trying several times of trying. Right. So I think it's okay. There's no problem in having to align themselves. It's never too early. It's still okay. The most important thing is they should know what they're looking for and set aside their own personal interest to come together to have a unity of purpose. So whether it's going to join the PDP or whether it's going to have a big tent, as the case may be, or a third force, or only time will tell. All
right, time will tell. Tinubu is also directing mandatory procurement of CNG-powered vehicles by MDAs.
It's within his prerogative to do that as the president and commander-in-chief. And it shouldn't be something new, because as at last year, one of the conditions of which the federal government had to say subsidy has been removed and we have to cushion the Fed is to ensure you encourage many companies to produce CNG vehicles, as the case may be. So now it's like the assembly plants and the vehicle manufacturers are through with that. And so it only behoves on the president to direct the ministry, department, and agencies of government to, as a matter of fact, purchase these vehicles, at least as a mark of showing others the way. It's like we're talking about purchase made in Nigeria vehicles, and we see most governors. We have the issue of the Abia State and the other, and many state governors. Many of the state governors have been able to purchase made in Nigerian, products. So this is also the issue of the CNG. So it has to start from the presidency. Your SUVs and the rest of it, buy the CNG vehicles, and that way ministries will take the lead and they'll follow.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So yesterday, the president launched the Organization of Africa First Ladies for Development, and according to the theme, we are equal. That's the equal campaign, and we saw so many first ladies of so many nations. In fact, I would have said all the nations represented in yesterday in Nigeria, precisely in Abuja, the Aso Villa. And I heard some of them came up. Some spoke, of course, in French, the lingua franca, and it was an interesting summit. But most importantly, is for the promoting the girl child. Letting the girl child know that they still have the power, to be who they are or who they want to be. So it was an interesting thing to see ladies converge, and ladies with a caliber and timber, made of caliber and timber.
Well, I won't be surprised that you're so excited.
Really excited.
It's talking
Exciting
about
moment.
it's talking about your gender.
Of course.
Of course, you'll be excited. Yeah, of course. There is nothing wrong in women coming from different parts of the world to determine what is good for the girl child, and it's a good one. Under the auspices of the first ladies, it's a good one. Like I always say, in as much as it's also good, we should also have it at the back of our mind that equality, like we say, it's a good thing. Just like one of the Millennium Development Goals, I talked about gender equality. It should be seen in all fora, whether male or female, whether boy child and girl child. Because like we also say, if you train the girl child, the girl child will get married to a man. The girl child will work under a boss, probably a man. So everybody needs to be trained, because if the girl child is trained, well disciplined, and the boy child is not trained, and he's going to get married to a boy child, it's a problem. So I think it's as parents, we should also know that everybody is important, and also as a government, it's not enough for us to hold symposiums, kind of talk shop and stuff like that, but it's enough for us to carry out those thing. We have to walk the talk. It's not enough for us to just...
they actually worked the talk. The launch of the campaign in Nigeria is coming with the planned reintroduction of the alternative high school for girls by the First Lady. An initiative that is expected to offer a second chance to young girls who have dropped out of school, to further their education and fulfill their dreams and aspirations.
Yeah, I totally support it. Hook, line, and sinker. It's a good initiative.
The stone laying was the foundation stone of the school was recently laid in Osun State by the First Lady, with the promise that more of such schools, will definitely come across the country. So it's a welcome development.
It is.
All of them that gathered yesterday, if they put in their resources together, I'm sure you're not going to touch our Nigerian purse to do this project, but it's a welcome development. All right, thank you so much, Henry Nwanze, as always, for coming, and that's Headline today. Thank you. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.